So I've been hanging out in the official Discord in the new player help section, and the most common question that I've been seeing come up is which dungeons to run first, and today I want to address just that. Hey, welcome everybody. If you don't know me, my name is BearCozy. I strive to make not only entertaining but also educational videos, and like I said, I've been hanging out in the new player help section of the official Ace Discord, and the most common question that keeps coming up is which dungeons do you run first? Now, as you can see, some of these dungeons I've done up to 16s. Some of these dungeons I am still working on them, but from my experience, new players and struggling players have the same common question. Do I run Roaring Tulpa? Do I run Magestaria? Do I run Queen of Tides? And which dungeons do I run? How does this thing work? And what is the priority for this? Now, today I want to answer this question. If you are in the same position, if you're finding yourself struggling in dungeons, in my opinion, the very first thing you should run is Queen of Tides. Now, why Queen of Tides? Well, very, very simple. If you go ahead and look at the rewards, you can see the gear that it drops. The warrior set is, of course, very good. The curse set is very, very good. And in my opinion, the absolute best set here, at least initially starting out when you are farming gear, is the revival set. Now, the revival set is amazing because not only will it heal you every single turn, not only will it heal you by 10% of the max health at the start of the turn, or 20% if your character is under 50% health, but it's also very, very beneficial to clear not only these dungeons here, these stages, but also some of the other stages as well. I have lots of my heroes in revival sets, and as you can tell here, if we go ahead and go into this dungeon, you can see Jonathan is in a revival set. Florence is actually in a revival set slash faith set. I have been testing her in a faith set. Nathalia used to be in a revival set, however, she is no longer because she's in a guard set and she has good enough stats. And Hakron is just straight up defense. Now, some of the other dungeons is the same thing. Roaring Tulpa is the same. Magestaria is the same. And Queen of Tides is the same. Blackhorn is in a revival set. Jonathan I've been using, who's in a revival set. Bullen is actually in a curse set. However, if we go ahead and put Gangelo in, Gangelo is in a revival set as well, and so is Santos, wherever she is. So the first thing for me, in my opinion, revival set is very, very key to surpassing some of these dungeons and advancing in some of these dungeons. So in my opinion, Queen of Tides is the absolute best to start with. Now, if you can only do Queen of Tides 10 or 11, start with 11, because in Queen of Tides 11, you can start getting 5 and 6 star gear. Now, what kind of gear are you looking for? Let's go ahead and explore this a little bit further, and let's take a look at Santos. Santos is fusible. She's fairly easy to get, so she's not very difficult. And as you can see, I have a Santos in one revival set and one vanguard set to make her a little bit tanky. And I have tried to give her as much HP as I can. She's at 20,000 health, and that's plenty for most dungeons, especially if she's getting healed every single turn. That works out really well. Her defense is fairly high as well. You don't need this much defense. Of course, you can go higher, but this works out just the same. This works out really, really well. And in my opinion, as I've said, revival set is absolutely amazing to keep your heroes alive, especially when you're pushing the harder dungeons. So what you can do is start with Queen of Tides, and if you are struggling in 10 or 11, go ahead and farm 10 or farm 11, and try to focus on 5 star minimum gear. And typically what I do, and this is what I wanted to talk about, and I skipped over it, what I typically do, if we go back to Santos, is I typically focus on health percentage boots. I typically focus on health percentage revival ring as well, if they're on poisoners. Damage dealers are a totally different story, and then either health or focus on the necklace, and that should give you enough stats. As you can see, we need more focus on Santos, but right now she's been working out okay. If you are looking at a damage dealing hero, then that's a little bit different. If we go ahead and look at Nathalia, my Nathalia got out of a revival set a little while ago. I have her in one guard set and 2 raider sets, and for boots, I use attack percentage boots. Notice that none of these are flat stats. Next, if we go over to the ring, you can either use crit damage if you can max out crit rate. If you can get your crit rate to 100%, you can use your crit damage ring. That is very important. If you cannot get your crit rate to 100%, go ahead and use a crit rate ring. And then, of course, for your necklace, depending on how your hero's damage scales, That is what you want to pay attention to. If it's an attack-based hero, you want to use an attack necklace, attack percentage, not a flat stat. And if it's a defense-based hero, you might try to experiment with defense and see what is good for you there, depending on the hero, like Nero. Now, when you are comfortable running Queen of Tides, you can run at minimum Queen of Tides 12, so you can start farming 6-star gear and keeping only 6-star gear and breaking the rest down for experience. Once you're comfortable with that, you can go into either Roaring Tulpa or Ash Magestaria. I personally recommend Ash Magestaria. Tulpa is not very good at farming, or it's not very good for farming. Ash Magestaria is very good for the Raider set, is absolutely amazing. Average set is absolutely amazing. And then once you start to get into a defense-based arena team on your defense, you can go ahead and experiment with the Dragon Scale set. But that is much, much later when you have really strong heroes and really good rolls. And once you're done with Ash Magestaria, by the way, if you are running Ash Magestaria and if you're running a speed comp, I made a video on this, Ash Magestaria Hell Speed Comp 1. This is my speed comp for Ash Magestaria 1, Gangelo and Santis. Gangelo is in a revival set. Santis is also in a revival set as well. Nathalia used to be, and Florence used to be. Florence right now is in a Faith set, and Nathalia is in a Guard set, and that gives them enough survivability to do a speed farming run. These runs are just under 2 minutes per run, and they're fairly quick. And notice again, 2 out of the 4 of my heroes are still in revival sets, so that is why I recommend starting with Queen of Tides. And then once you are in Ash Magestaria, go ahead and work your way through until you can start farming the Hell stages for the much needed Fabled gear. And then, of course, you'll start getting Raider sets, Average set, and the Dragon Scale set. That is number 2. So start with Queen of Tides as number 1. Ash Magestaria, in my opinion, is number 2. And then if you want to go ahead and farm Roaring Tulpa, you can. I would recommend farming Witch of the Wind, which I have not really gotten into the Hell stages yet. I've done some farming in 12, but right now I'm really heavily focusing on farming Ash Magestaria. Roaring Tulpa is okay if you want to farm it. The gear is not the best, and I haven't really pushed. Terra set is okay, not the best. Vanguard set is pretty good, but only in specific circumstances. And Rage set is actually not that good because it's a 4-piece set. However, there is talk that the Rage set might be changing in the near future to a possible 2 set. That has been the content creator feedback, so that is not official yet. There is a talk about it, and it is a possibility. We'll have to see what happens. So keep tuned in. We'll have to see if that changes. So once you are comfortable farming Roaring Tulpa 12, I would not recommend farming too much of this. I would not spend too much time in this. Dungeon number 1, Queen of Tides. If you are struggling for gear, I would at minimum get to 12, spend 1 month farming Queen of Tides. Dungeon number 2, Ash Magestaria. Once you get to at minimum stage 12, spend 1 month or whatever you need. I actually spent a few months in Queen of Tides, 2.5 months. I believe I spent 10 weeks in there farming nothing but Queen of Tides. Then I moved on to Ash Magestaria, and now I am starting to branch out into Roaring Tulpa. Tulpa I wouldn't farm for more than a week or 2. And Witch of the Wind is going to be number 3 for me. I know I talked about Tulpa. That is up to you. Witch of the Wind, you need some good speeds. If you can farm Witch, I would recommend you farming Witch because Raptor set is pretty good. 2-star piece, 2-set piece. Assassin set, very, very good. I had my Nathalia in an Assassin set for a very long time, and I have just recently gotten her out of, but I do experiment with her, putting her back in and out of it. Assassin set is very, very good. And the Faith set is, of course, is good as well. It converts 50% of the healing amount into a shield for 2 turns. The bigger the heals, the bigger the shields, which is absolutely fantastic. So I would recommend Witch of the Wind to be number 3, unless you can't farm it. You do need really high speeds for Witch of the Wind. Otherwise, your heroes would take some bleed damage. So she does put bleed damage on heroes with relatively low speed. So if you don't have the correct speeds, if you don't have enough speed to run Witch of the Wind 12 to farm her successfully, go ahead and run Roaring Tulpa or go ahead and farm Ash Magestaria. And this is why I recommended Queen of Tides first for the revival gear. So you can farm Ash Magestaria second for the Raider set, and then you can go into Witch of the Wind third. And when you get sick of running those 3, go ahead and farm Tulpa in your spare time just for a change of pace. Gemini Dragon, in my opinion, would be the last. I'm actually still struggling in this, and I really don't care to farm it too much. There is a guard set in there. The Rebel set does not work like you think it does. You do need focus to land it, according to some of the content creators that have tested this. Guard set is good on the Thalia. However, the guard set you can get from the banker. You can also get the guard set from Endless Trial. So that is where I got most of mine. Endless Trial, banker. And then if you also talk to the bartender, you can buy the guard set with gold. And that is what I've done a lot of times. Anytime I've seen a 5 or 6 star piece guard set, I went ahead and I bought it. And over time, I ended up getting enough pieces. All you need is 2. Over time, I ended up getting enough pieces between the banker and the bartender. I got this one here, which is really, really nice. And that rolled fairly well. The defense is okay. It doesn't hurt, but the crit rate is amazing, especially on a crit damage ring. And then I got this guard necklace with 50% attack. The rolls are okay. Again, flat defense, not fantastic, but it completes the set and it works out really, really well. So there we go. Number 1, Queen of Tides for revival gear. That should help you progress in not only Queen of Tides, but all of the other dungeons. Number 2, run Ash Magestaria until you can successfully farm at minimum stage 12. I've made a video on that with Gangelo and without Gangelo. Ash Magestaria Hell 1. 2 different comps in one video. If you don't have Gangelo, check that video out. I will put a link in the description down below. And number 3, Witch of the Wind, unless you don't have enough speed, if your heroes are too slow, most likely they will not survive. In which case you can farm Roaring Tulpa, that would be 4. And then a Gemini Dragon, in my opinion, is the hardest, at least for me, so that you can go ahead and farm less. So there it is. There are all the stages from 1 to 5, in my opinion, from easiest and the most beneficial. So you can not only do this in the correct order, in the easiest order, but you can also help yourself progress much faster than you would normally. If you like this video, hit the like and the subscribe button down below. Also, leave me a comment, and for more helpful videos like this, check out the top right.